just at the beginning of the tutorial is that you're going from a major 7 to a dominant 7, and you called it a secondary dominant passing, going to the 4. So could you explain? I kind of get it, but I'd like your explanation if you can.
On what a secondary dominant is?
Yes.
So there are two types of dominant chords in terms of functional theory. There is the diatonic dominant and there's a secondary dominant. In a major key or a minor key, the only place you can find a diatonic dominant chord is on the 5. So if we're in the key of C, we build a 7 chord, that 5 chord is going to be a dominant 7, but it's diatonic. See? All the notes belong to the key of C. Anywhere else in the key we try to form a dominant 7 chord, it's going to introduce non-chordal tone or non-diatonic tone. So if I go to the 1, it's introducing B flat because B flat doesn't belong to the key. If I go to the 4, it introduces E flat. E flat doesn't belong to the key. And then if we turn the major chords dominant, the minor chords dominant, then the thirds of these chords are non-diatonic. And so that's why we call it diatonic dominant, because it's the only place in the key where we can find a natural 5/7 chord without any a non-diatonic tone.
Okay.
So whenever you find a dominant 7 chord anywhere else throughout the key, the function of that chord is secondary dominant.
Okay.
And it's usually, the function of a dominant 7 chord is usually to take you back to 1, 5, 1, right? So in the key of C, G7 is the 5, take you back to the 1, which is C. So when we find dominant 7 chords other places from the 5, it is sort of functioning similarly, but it's not taking you back to the 1. So that's why it's a secondary dominant.
Oh.
And it's really functioning as a passing chord to take you to some other chord. So in the key, What a Friend, was it in E flat?
It was in B flat.
B flat. So when I go,
Right.
that 7, the dominant 7th, is setting you up to go to 4. So it's functioning like a 5-1 in the key of E flat. But because we're really not in the key of E flat, we're in the key of B flat, it's a temporary tonal shift. And we call that a secondary dominant passing.
Okay.
And so sometimes when we go to the 6 and we make it dominant, then we go to the 2, it's the same function, a 5-1 to a minor, which is functioning again as a secondary dominant passing. So that's just basically the theoretical explanation behind it, to explain why we can introduce dominant 7 chords at different places within a song and why. The reason behind it is it's mimicking that 5-1 experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.